Yes.
Good. We're very fortunate to have Matthew Ensor. He's business director of advisory at Becker. And so tell me about your own cultural capability journey, Matthew. When did that start?
Well, I became the manager of our transportation group about 10 years ago, and had grand plans to grow the group. And so my particular group, we look after solving traffic problems, and you can imagine all through the world there's enormous...
I was just thinking of Auckland this morning.
Yeah, there's a scarcity of really good talent. And so we looked around the world and found that there's lots of great talent in the world, but they come from all over the world, and English is often a second or third language for them. And so we hired vigorously from around the world. We had people from Hong Kong, Singapore, Myanmar, a whole range of different cultures, and thought, this is great, we've got the best minds in the world, let's get started. Unfortunately, what we found was that diversity is fabulous, but there's no magic in it. You can't just get people from around the world and put them in a team and expect to be
So what happened? What happened when you just went around the world, recruited and stuck them all in an office?
So what we found was that a lot of the migrant staff worked really hard. To say they did amazing work, but we discovered there's sort of a confusion about how to be successful at Becker or in New Zealand as a whole. So we actually found it out in many ways by accident. So we looked around the world. I decided that we had diversity, so it should be a competitive advantage, not just a problem to be solved. But there wasn't really any research around cultural diversity that we could use. A lot of it was around affirmative action, where you're bringing in people without the skills, but to balance up the diversity. So perhaps in our naivety, we started a English language program, because that seemed to be the biggest problem to solve, was the ability to write great reports for our clients.
Okay, that's interesting, because of course many of these engineers, I suppose, and professionals would come from India, and of course English is the first language there, was the national language, maybe not the first language.
And so I was having my directors come to me saying, look, Matthew, this is crazy, I'm spending my whole weekend rewriting these reports, we need to do something.
Yes.
So we hired an external tutor to teach English, simple things around grammar and things like that. And we discovered by accident that people would come to this tutorial group that we run at work, but start asking questions that they didn't understand about Becker. So one of the questions, for example, was, why is Jeremy, who was a high flyer in my team, why does Jeremy not do what Matt says? Matt asks him to do something, he doesn't do it, he does something else, but why is he rewarded for that? It was a complete, if you like, a cultural mystery to them.
Right, and why was that the case?
Well, what we did is we talked to them about an initiative. We actually worked out what we've called the 9 cultural mysteries, and they're based on research, and we've kind of modified them for New Zealand and for Becker.
Are they still 9 or are they 12? Because New Zealand's got a few more cultural mysteries.
Yes, well we're sticking with 9.
9, all right, 9.
But we asked them about initiative. We said, what does initiative mean? And there was quite a dichotomy between the folk who are from Asia in general to those who are from New Zealand. And for those who had joined us from Asia, a lot of it was about working really hard, finding better ways to do their job. And for the Kiwis, it was about doing things that you weren't asked to do, seeing problems to be solved that weren't part of your job description. So what we were finding was that even the understanding of initiative, we talked about initiative being important, it was a
complete blank.
Yeah, complete blank.
Just not something in their culture.
So we worked through these 9 cultural mysteries, and what we found is that we really needed to do a bit of storytelling. And so I was lucky enough to get, for each of these mysteries, we got one of the board or one of the executive to come in and explain from their own perspective how that had helped their career. And to cut a long story short, after we'd been through all 9, there was this effectively we'd solved so much of this diversity challenge, and that everyone was kind of on the same page. And the good news is, that transport team was one of the most diverse in the company. And
tell me about the performance.
And yet we were one of the most profitable, one of the highest performance, and we even did a survey around the company as part of our leadership development program, saying, where would you like to work in Becker? And transport team came out second, which I think is incredible, given the normal things you hear about.
And how long did that take, Matthew?
Well, it was years. So that would be one of my suggestions to people who are on this diversity journey.
Yeah.
Because in many ways you're changing the culture of the team. It's not it's not just a simple case of saying, right, well, we need to change.
And so how did all of this transform you?
Oh, in many ways it was very rewarding for me. I find it, people fascinating. So in this sort of diversity journey, it was all around understanding individuals and their contribution they can make to the team. And so it led me to realise that when you're trying to make diversity work in a team, it's actually quite a new skill. So a lot of leaders use role models from previous decades when diversity was a lot about being friendly or trying to integrate people into the team.
People say that to me. So is cultural capability just being friendly? And I say, well, it is helpful, but it's not all there is.
It's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah. I mean, what about this China capability, really, or Asia capability? That really, what we're finding at the Super Diversity Centre is that a lot of companies just don't have much Asia capability. So that there's a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of ignorance, really, about the people they're dealing with. Yeah,
and so the challenge we have is that I think the statistics are there are 80 languages spoken in our head office just up in Auckland. So language isn't so much the problem, but it's having that having those cultural skills, right up into the leadership and executive of the business. Who are the people who are often meeting with folk from different countries and having to, as you say, work with our China capability.
Yeah. And so in terms of your own journey now, I mean, you're the manager of a highly effective, culturally diverse team. What have you learned? What tips can you give to other people out there who are just starting on this journey and thinking, oh my God, we hired all these people and now actually we've dipped below business as usual performance. How do we get it up?
Yeah, and I think that's a challenge for Auckland, to be frank. We talk about productivity as a country, not increasing how we'd like to, and then you come across folk who are really underemployed, if you like. Their talents can't come through. I studied, so I won a scholarship to go to a business school in France, in Seattle, who specialise in cultural diversity. That's their diversity as a whole. So I think there's actually a place for...
Are they teaching in French?
No,
thank goodness.
We had French food. So
that's right.
That was lovely. So I think there's a role for actual hard skills and how you lead a diverse team.
That's true. The Super Diversity Centre is now doing a lot of training. But, once again, it's hard. It's hard to convey to people that actually getting trained in cultural capability is as important as, IQ, EQ.
Yeah. And I think it's a competitive world. If a company wants to, or an organisation wants to get the best out of the talent pool, they have to have skills around diversity. People often ask me, what's the definition of diversity? Because often it gets sort of couched in statistics. It's like, we have great statistics, or we've set goals for ethnicity in our country. What I say is it's actually being able to have the organisation maximise performance of a person, sort of no matter what their ethnic background is, or their demographic background, or whatever. It's just maximising performance in individuals.
I think that's right. And of course, you must be experiencing more and more diversity over time. You've had to bring these people in from outside, but actually the domestic market here is pretty diverse too.
Yeah, and in some ways it's becoming easier. That many of our clients are as diverse as we are, and so it's easier to make those links. But in some ways, I think the message is getting quite confused about what is super diversity. How do you harness super diversity, and what steps you should take.
Sure. Well, I tried very hard in the Super Diversity stock take just to make it really clear. It's happened, it's here, and you need to grapple with it. It isn't a small issue about diversity and inclusion, it's a big issue about the economy.
Exactly right.
And so where do you think the confusion comes from?
I think the people have sort of grasped the idea of diversity of thought, and I think that's a step forward in terms of moving on from sort of egalitarian equality kind of those naive arguments, I think, around statistics. But the challenge, I guess, is the, how would you put it?
Ethnic diversity, you mean?
Yeah, it's how, I suppose how people see diversity as part of their future as the organisation.
Is it confused because it's confused with race issues?
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah. Indeed.
So, and we do need to penetrate that really.
Yeah.
We do need to talk about it.
Mm.
Yes. So, do you have any final words for those who are trying to become culturally competent and are trying to shift the dial in their own workplaces?
Yeah, well, be patient will be my number one thing.
Mm.
I suppose understand what your goals are in terms of, why are you tackling super diversity. I think, be genuine about the fact that the talent pool is really diverse, and to be a forward-looking leader, I think you've got to grasp that kind of stuff. So yeah, be patient, listen, and look. There are fabulous organisations at the moment who are making good progress. So keep in touch with those folk, and don't give up.
Great. Thank you very much, Matthew Ensor.